Hi guys, Alex here from U-Star Gamer. I hope you're all good. So today I've got to do a video on VR response to Retro Ed UK. He tagged me and Scott Marathon Gaming. So yeah, I've seen Scott's great video. If you haven't seen that, I'll put link to both the videos in my description, so please go check them out. But what the video is about is, what are the last 10 video games that you would sell, or what is the last 10 games to leave your games room, that kind of thing. So I had to sort of kind of really sit down and think hard about what games would be the last 10 to leave. I must admit, if there was time where I needed money, or the family needed money, or for whatever reason, then a lot of it would go. I do believe that family life is more important than my video game collection, of course. So it's a bit of a tricky one. You know, there's only probably a few items that would never leave, because I'll show you, I've actually got a couple of them in the 10 that I've got here, and I'll explain why. So what shall I show you first? I'm going to go with this one, I think, first. I'm going to do it in a random order. I'm not going to do it in any old, do you know what I mean? I'm just going to pick them out and as I go kind of thing. And the first one I'm going to show you is Super Mario Bros. 3. I've got a great copy of this. And the reason I wanted a great copy of this is my nostalgia. I mean, it's a fantastic game anyway. But I can't remember the exact month this released. But I knew it wasn't my birthday. I knew it weren't Christmas time. And back in the day, we always used to get games sort of around Christmas or your birthday time, or, you know, if your grandparents treated you or whatever, which, you know, wasn't that often, I must admit. But I remember showing my mum this game constantly in magazines for months, because I was, you know, I was so hyped for it. And I remember the day it released, and I remember a couple of mates getting it, and I was extremely jealous. They were saying that, yeah, it's waiting for them when they get home from school and all that. And I just remember that day, my mum picked me up in a car, and as I got in a car, and what did she pull out? She pulled out Super Mario Bros. 3. Unfortunately, this isn't the one. I think the original one went to family over the years and got lost. But I was so stoked and over the moon that my mum had picked up on the fact that I was so buzzing for this game, and yeah, she'd done an absolute solid by getting it for me. So yeah, absolutely love this game. So I'm going to put that one there. I don't know if it's going to pick up on it's going to fall over in it. Right, again, not in any order, but this game is important to me because it was a gift from a good friend, and that friend is Scott, Sega Zombie. We went to the London Gamer Market, and I mentioned to him that I'd never played this Shadow Dancer, and I think he was absolutely shocked. And about 5 minutes later, he came along and he plonked it in my hand, and he goes, "Oh, that's for you." And I was so over the moon that he did that. So this is one of the games that will probably never leave the games room, because it was a gift. And to be honest, since obviously he's gave it to me and I've played it, I think it's a fantastic game. It really is a good game, and it probably was a bit of a sort of travesty that I didn't have it in my collection, because I've got probably Mega Drive is probably one of my bigger collections now. And yeah, I think Scott thought the same at the time, that I didn't have it. You're an idiot, why haven't you got it? So thanks, Scott, for getting me that when you did, mate. I did appreciate it, and that is one of the reasons that will never leave the games room. Right, what else we got? Put that to one side. Go through these. Right, I'll show you this one next. This is this isn't the original one I had, but it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Sorry about the glare, guys. This is the first video game I ever had. I got it with a NES building pack for Christmas, one Christmas, and must have been 8, 9, 10, I can't remember the exact age. But I remember getting it, and I could not put it down all weekend or whatever it was at Christmas time, so over Boxing Day and that. A lot of people don't like this Turtles, but I love it for nostalgia. It is, yeah, it's a good game. I think it's good. I think it gets a real raw deal out there in the community, but I think it stands up today. And if you ever, I do a series at the minute with my son. I might actually try and get him to play this, because I could never complete it, but I could probably get to about the 4th or the 5th stage because it's rock hard. It is rock hard. But yeah, the nostalgia for this is heavy. So that can go up there as well. Right, the next one I'm going to show you is the only game I've got in my collection still from when I was a kid, and I don't know what happened to all the rest of my games, but this is the only one that survived, and that is Sonic 3D. So seeing as it's the only game I have from when I was a kid, there's absolutely no way that is leaving my collection. Again, I would say it's not a fantastic game, it's not the best Sonic out there, but again, I really enjoyed it back in the day, and yeah, it's just got to stay for obviously those reasons I've said. And actually, my one is actually a bit beaten up, you know, and bust, but there's no way I can upgrade it or anything like that. It's just got to stay like that, guys. Right, the next one. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Switch it up a bit, and it is a Switch game, and that is Breath of the Wild. Now, this game was so anticipated for a long time for myself because I had the Wii U. It was meant to come out on the Wii U many years ago, and it never happened, and obviously then it got put back to a release date with the Switch. And I remember getting this in the March, I think it was. I actually was on holiday visiting family overseas, and my Switch landed at home, and I could see it had been delivered and everything. I got my neighbour to collect it for me. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks before I actually got to play it, and all I can remember of this game at that time was being glued to it, just like non-stop. If you saw me, you had my Switch in my hand, just been blown away by how good the Switch was and how good this game was. It was a big jump for a Zelda game. It's the first sort of time where you know, you didn't do like the general sort of dungeon, get the weapon, move on, you know what I mean? It was more sort of like whatever weapon you could find at the time, and that is a must in my collection. Right, we're halfway, guys, halfway, look. Right, let's go. I'm going to show you this one else. This was a gift as well. So Ed that tagged me in this video saw that I picked up a Vectrex. I think probably about a week later he reached out to me and said, "Ow, I noticed that you didn't have this one when you showed the video," and that is Cosmic Chasm, whatever it's called. And he kindly donated that to me, and yeah, it's again, because it was a gift, it can't go, it just can't go ever. It's like, it has to stay forever. It's not a bad game either, to be fair, for the Vectrex. I didn't mind it, it's really good. But yeah, again, you know, the generosity of sort of this community, the people in it and, you know, around it is great, and it just shows, you know, people reach out to you. And I think didn't really know Ed that well at the time, and since I've got to know Ed, and he's a top bloke, so yeah, Ed, I really appreciate you giving me that, mate. Well, that's not going to fit in there, is it? So let's just put it like that. Right, next one. I'm gonna go to a different game again, different PlayStation 2 this time, and that is Sxx Tricky. I would say this is my favourite game on the PlayStation 2. I have got so much nostalgia for this game, playing it with my mates around their house all night. You know like how people used to play FIFA and that back in the day. This is what we used to play. We used to play this, and the soundtrack on this is phenomenal. It is a blinding game. Some people say that 3 was better, but I disagree. I think this was the best one they ever made, and I wish they'd make a remake of it, you know, or remastered or whatever, and bring it out again, because it is such a good game. If you've not played it, please do yourself a favour and go and try it. So yeah, that's number, what's that? 2, 4, 7. Stay there. Right, 3 left to show. Right, I'm going to go with this next. It's another Zelda game on the Wii U, and that is Wind Waker. I remember getting this on the GameCube originally. Now, I don't own the GameCube version of this, because I think the HD version is better because of how it works with the gamepad. it's really user friendly. But this game absolutely blew me away with the old shell shading, and it just, you know, on the open seas, it just, yeah, really sort of appealed to my nature of games. And it's one of these Zelda games that no matter when, really, I can pick it up and give it a go again. So for me, that one can never leave as well, because it's such a great game. Right, I'll put that one there. I've got 2 left. Now, which one do I show out these 2? No, I'm going to show this one first and leave that one. Right, the next one is Super Mario World. Again, this isn't the original one that I had. The original one I had was just a loose copy. But the story goes with Super Mario World is that I hadn't seen my brother probably, maybe 2 years, maybe as long as that. And obviously he'd missed my birthdays and missed my Christmases, and one day he surprised us because we'd moved up to Norfolk from London and he stayed in London. My brother Stephen is 10 years older than me, and he rocked up and he brought the Super Nintendo with him, and it was his. And I was just like, wow, you know, I've not seen one before. I've obviously seen it in magazines, and I think I might have had a go at like demonstrations and places like that, but yeah, it was the first time I could properly have a go on one. And literally he brought it into my bedroom on the Friday night, and I was still sitting there like Sunday night about to leave it. Anyway, as he was about to leave, he said, look Al, he goes, I've missed your birthdays and Christmases, you can keep it. And yeah, such a great memory of my brother Stephen doing that. It's just so nostalgic for me. So yeah, it is another game that can never go. And to be honest guys, everyone knows this game and how good it is as well. So even if I didn't have that nostalgic value with it as well, I probably would be in my top 10 not to go anyway. But obviously with that memory, again, it's just cemented there. So it's never going anywhere. Right, this last game is quite special to me. Yeah, this again, it's not my original, and I'm devastated I haven't got my original one. But again, I think my cousins and that had my old games as I grew up, and it got lost in the family somewhere. It probably is somewhere still lurking about maybe, but no one knows where they went after my cousins and that. So, but the game I'm talking about is Quantum Fighter on the NES. Now, some people might think, why that game, Al? Well, I used to spend a lot of time with my uncles and my nan. My nan lived with my 2 uncles because my granddad passed away before I was born, unfortunately. And I used to spend a lot of time there with them. And my uncle, he was a great guy, but he was a bit tight, bless him. He never really buy me anything. But, you know, he would take me out places. He'd take me, you know, to a local sort of, park, or, you know, he'd take me to the shops to have a look around or whatever. He'd always spend time with me. And I always remember being in Staines growing up, and I was in WH Smith's, and I was, as you do, looking at the stand, looking at the games. And I had this in my hand, and I think it might have been about £15 at the time. It was on like an offer. And he just said to me, Al, do you want it? He goes, I'll get it for you. And I was like, yeah, please. So I was like, it was the only thing he ever bought me like that. And I think it's a great game, guys. If you've never played this, I highly recommend you giving it a go. Yeah, I've recently completed it again. You know, it's a good fun game, good platformer, good story to it. But again, like I said, the nostalgic reason for this. Now, unfortunately, my uncle's passed away now, but this is, every time I look at this game, it just takes me back to that point, and it reminds me of my uncle every time. So, good memories. So, for that reason, it's probably number 1 on my list, and another reason why it can never ever leave the games room. There you go, guys. That is my 10 games. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, so I now need to tag 2 people. Who should I tag? Right, first person I'm going to tag is one of the persons that gave me Shadow Dancer, and that is Scott, Sega Zombie. I'd love to see your 10 games that would leave the games room, because you've got so many, buddy. I'd love to see which your top 10 are. And who else can I tag? I'm going to tag Al's Arcade as well. He's recently started up his channel again. and I'd love to see what 10 games you would choose to leave your arcade last. Doesn't have to be necessarily ones you would never sell. I think it's just like maybe the last 10 that would ever leave, which is good. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed that. Till the next video, take care. Bye bye.